This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, May 17th, 2006, and this is episode number 101 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hochberg from mgmstudios.org. On the show today is Len Testa of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome, Len.
Heady-ho, Matt.
We've also got Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome, Mike.
Hola, Matt.
And we've also got Mike Scopa, as usual, from mouseplanet.com. Welcome, Michael.
I'd like to borrow some aluminum foil, a clothespin, and a candle.
Oh, Universe of Energy.
Ellen's, yeah.
Yeah, you guys are geeks.
No problem. I'll just help myself. Hey, because everyone in New York keeps their doors unlocked.
Stupid Judy.
Stupid Judy.
Well, it's a Wednesday, and that means we're answering your listener questions. And if you'd like to send in your own listener questions, email us at questions@wdwtoday.com. Our first email actually comes from a celebrity. It's from Francis Flute, who is a Streetmosphere character at the Disney MGM Studios. And he wrote, Dear fellows, I discovered your swell podcast today and heard you talking about me on episode 95. What an honor. I am pleased that Matt says that I am his favorite act. That is just so flattering. I wanted to write and tell you that thanks for the nice words. Hopefully soon I will be traveling outside of the Disney MGM Studios with my Francis Flute show. My goal is to gain fans all over the country. Anyway, thanks again for the support and kindness. So we thank Francis for listening to our podcast. Although I'm sure Scope is waiting for Belle to write into us.
Yeah.
And not her lawyer.
Hold your breath.
And a candle in the window for her.
Our next email comes from Kim, who writes, I'll be visiting the Walt Disney World parks from May 19th through May 24th, and will be arriving in Orlando at 10:30 in the morning. My group is using the Magical Express service to take us to our hotel Pop Century. No giggles, please. We want to go to the parks as soon as possible, but don't quite understand how an early arrival will work with check-in. Will the hotel allow us to check in early? Can we at least reserve a room location and then grab our key once we return from the parks? How does the system work exactly? Our plane leaves on the 24th at 6:60 p.m. and we'll be going to the parks that day. So again, how will this work? Does the hotel hold our bags and automatically know when we have to get to the airport? Basically, I think Kim is a little lost on the whole Magical Express, how that works exactly. But who wants to explain how an early check-in works?
Well, Len, I can do the early check-in. I'll let Len do the Magical Express. I think he's used it, but I haven't used it.
You can do all this. This is your home resort.
Well, I'm not that familiar with Magical Express. All I can tell you, Kim, is that when you check in, if your room is ready, your room is ready. If it's not, they will hold your baggage, and they will give you your key and everything, and they may not even have your room number ready, and what you can do is you can call later from the theme park and ask if your room is ready, and they will activate your card so that you can get into your room. But they will take care of anything like tickets and all that stuff, and so that you could definitely go and enjoy your day. They don't want to have your wallet being too idle, so you will be allowed to go to the theme park, and your room should be available sometime in the early afternoon. As far as Magical Express, I'm going to turn that over to Len because I'll probably make a mistake with that.
Yeah. So on the way back, you'll have to check in with the there's like an airline check-in desk at your resort, and I believe it's open from like 5 a.m. to 10, 11. And that's like it closes fairly late. It's like fairly early in the day. I think it's like 5 p.m.
Oh,
and you have to check in at least 3 hours ahead of time. But if you go first thing in the morning, you'll be fine. You drop your bags off. And they take care of all your bags for you. You just show up for the bus later on. The good thing about this, Kim, is that if you have any questions while you're there, you can just stop up at the lobby, and then they'll be happy to answer any of those questions.
This should be a problem. And Kim also wants to know, since she'll be going to the parks in the afternoon, if we can give her a first-day itinerary. But rather than actually do that, I think, Kim, your best bet, I'll put a link in the show notes, to a link on lenstouringplans.com, as I'm sure you can, from there, find a multitude of half-day touring plans for every possible scenario you could possibly imagine for all the parks.
Yeah, in fact, we've got a specific plan for the Magic Kingdom that starts in the afternoon of day one and includes a full other day of touring. It's one of the more popular requests that we get.
Great. Our next email comes from Jesse Luckadoo of Roanoke, Virginia, who writes, Hey guys, love the podcast, although sometimes it gets a little goofy over there. Anyway, I was wondering if any of you knew how long we can expect the Narnia attraction on Mickey Avenue to be set up at the studios. I'll be going there Memorial Day weekend this year, May 28th, and I'm really excited about seeing it since the movie was excellent in my opinion. Thanks so much. Well, Jesse, I would have thought that its days would have been numbered by now. I had heard rumors that it would be replaced by a similar attraction for Pirates of the Caribbean, the new sequel that's coming out in July. However, I've heard absolutely nothing about it, and I've heard absolutely nothing about the Narnia attraction closing. So I believe you're good to go for Memorial Day weekend in order to see it. I think it's a great attraction, too. I really loved it when I saw it. I thought they did a great job for a temporary attraction. And,
Matt, I just talked to Jim Hill about this on Thursday.
Oh.
And he said the reason why they haven't put in the Pirates of the Caribbean theming yet is because they're still using the props in the movies. You remember the filming Pirates 2 and 3 at the same time?
That's right.
And so they're not done. So the guys from Walt Disney World are saying, can we have Johnny Depp's costume, for the attraction? And the guys in the film are saying, well, yeah, but he needs it through Thursday, so he can't have it. He's still in it, and that's why. But so July might be a stretch, but sometime later on this year we would expect it to be a Pirates theme too.
Great. Our next email comes from Tara Stiles of Ajax, Ontario, Canada, who writes, first of all, great podcast. It is always entertaining. I sometimes listen to episodes more than once just for the laughs. I have been convinced by you to get an annual pass on my trip in May. I can't order in advance, so I'm hoping I can pick one up at the outlet store locations before I hit the parks. I get to the airport too late in the day to buy it there, and I'm at SeaWorld and Discovery Cove for the first 2 days of my trip. Free parking was one of the major selling points for me. My question is, will I be able to benefit from parking before I've actually picked up my annual pass? I'm staying off-site, got a free stay at a family member's timeshare, which I just couldn't pass up.
If you've got the voucher, I think, Tara, they'll let you in. Just show the voucher and say you're there to pick up your annual pass, and they'll typically wave you through. I've actually done this both at the Magic Kingdom and at Epcot without any problems. I really think the guys who are taking the parking, they get abused all day by people saying, "What, $9 for this, for parking?" That they're looking for any excuse to wave you. That's exactly what they say. Just like that. They're looking for any reason to wave you through. So I think you'll be fine if you have a voucher there.
Well, our next email comes from Ray from Wisconsin. Ray's email goes, I have never been to Walt Disney World for less than 4 days, so deciding on what to do here has me a bit perplexed. Here's the story. My oldest son just got accepted to the Walt Disney World College program. I'll be bringing him down for an arrival in May, late in the afternoon. I plan on heading back home 2 days later. What should be my plan of attack? He's coming down on May 16th and going home on May 18th. The only thing Yes.
we gotta be more prompt on these emails.
The only thing I want to make sure is I do Expedition Everest. Since I don't know if I'll make it to Animal Kingdom on the first day before it closes, I'm planning on doing Expedition Everest the morning of the second day I'm there. I'm thinking either staying at the Polynesian or Beach Club due to the either monorail access or walking access to Epcot since I'm in a time crunch. I'd think about Scopa Towers, but I fear the buses might not be as efficient as the transportation from the Polynesian or Beach Club. After Expedition Everest on May 17th, should I stay there and head to Epcot for Illuminations, or should I head to Epcot immediately after Expedition Everest? Either way, it seems Magic Kingdom would be the choice for the first evening for Wishes and for the extra magic hours on the last day there before I leave. So I'm trying to do a lot in a little amount of time.
I definitely like the Animal Kingdom in the morning. And the Epcot at night.
He wants to take advantage of any extra magic hours, regardless of the fact that we're not big fans of it. That'll just give him more time in general to spend in the parks.
I think definitely the Animal Kingdom in the morning, though. Does anyone disagree with that?
Oh, I agree. On the 17th, he would go to Animal Kingdom, and on that evening, do Illuminations. And the night before, it sounds like he wants to do Wishes at the Magic Kingdom, and that makes sense to me.
What about his real question, I guess, is really he's got the touring plan down. I think we all agree with that.
Yeah.
His resort, he wants to know between Polynesian or Beach Club for their easy access via monorail or the Beach Club's access to Epcot. Is that prudent, or could he save money at staying at Scopa Towers?
Well, he's obviously going to save money at Scopa Towers, but...
Is it worth it, really?
I don't use the buses, so I can't really comment with any line of credibility.
The Polynesian's going to allow him to get the monorail to the Magic Kingdom and to Epcot because he could walk from the Polynesian to the TTC.
Right.
The only thing I would say about the Polynesian is, and I don't know if we put this on an earlier episode, but we did get quite a few complaints about it in our reader surveys for the unofficial guide this year. So much so that we're not going to recommend people stay there in the 07 edition, at least until we start getting more positive reader surveys. So I don't know if I can really recommend that.
Well, regarding getting to the Animal Kingdom early on Wednesday, I would almost say that maybe Pop Century might be the way to might be the easiest and quickest way.
He's got a bus either way, right?
Right. And it's not that far from. Or I guess you could go Beach Club. Is that the Beach Club, Matt?
Yes, that's right.
The Beach Club. Then you're right there for Illuminations, and then you can walk back to your resort.
Well, you can take a bus to the Magic Kingdom. Yeah, I think Beach Club's probably your best bet.
Yeah.
Assuming he hasn't already booked something.
Well, Al from Minnesota writes, hello, I'm a huge fan of this show. I have a couple questions for you all. My sister and I are going to Walt Disney World for Star Wars weekends. He even wrote what time?
Really?
That's why I don't edit these emails.
Wow.
What time?
There was a little flair on your part, Matt.
You're right.
It's outstanding.
What time should I go to MGM for Star Wars weekends if you're staying on property with extra magic hours? He's got a couple questions. Let's go one by one with that question. If you're going, first of all, I wouldn't go to MGM on the extra magic hour days, which is Saturday. I would go on Friday only because, never mind the extra magic hour crowds. There's less locals on Friday because locals have work and you're on vacation. So the crowds will be slightly better on Friday. That's not saying a whole lot. Al also wants to know, he's going with his sister, and she is a big Wild Ride fan, and Al can't stand them except for the simulators. Is there any good way to go about this so that they're not always split up? I have the unofficial guide and don't remember if there's anything in it about that. Len, can you do a adult baby swap?
Yeah. Sad. No. How would you do that?
Well, you could do a couple things. There's not too many wild rides at Disney World first. There's Expedition Everest and Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror. You could really count on your hand, the amount of attractions that I think Al might not be a big fan of. And the thing to remember, first of all, there's not so many, so you're not going to have a terrible problem with that. And the other thing is, Disney World is where Rock and Roller Coaster was my first upside-down roller coaster. It's a lot of people. It's very smooth. I would say give it a shot if you want to feel like trying to conquer your fears here.
Well, I don't. I think the simple thing to do is if they don't want to be split up that much, to when she wants to do a thrill attraction, make use of the Fast Pass. That way, there's a window of time that she would go to this attraction, and they would only be separated for that amount of time, rather than have her wait in line for 45 minutes. Basically, that's it.
All right. Our next question is from Kim Stantis of Madison, Wisconsin, who writes, I'll be visiting Walt Disney World in late May and was wondering, where is the best spot to watch Spectre Magic from? And is there anywhere I can watch the parade from and then stay at that same spot to get a good view of the fireworks? Well, I'll tell you. Well, can I offer my best spot for Spectre Magic?
Why don't we all do our own?
All right.
You do yours, Len will do his, and I'll do mine, and Mike will do his.
Okay. Well, I would say for Spectre Magic, this is probably a terrible place to watch Wishes from, but it's right on the little path that goes between Liberty Square and it leads. You got to split. You take a right, you go over that bridge to Splash Mountain. You take a left, you go to Adventureland and Pirates of the Caribbean. And right at that intersection, if you want to call it that, there's this wooden fence over there, and you can stand right over there because there's just enough space in the little when they put the tape down, where you can stand. There's just enough space there to stand there for one person, meaning there's not going to be more than anyone behind you or in front of you. So you got a great view to be able to view the parade from. That's my spot. Len?
That's actually not a bad idea. I don't know if you can see Wishes from there, but
Probably can.
I think Wishes. I would in for Spectre Magic. I would say somewhere near the central hub, between the central hub and the bridge to Tomorrowland, really isn't bad. You get a pretty decent view of the parade floats. The only thing I would say is that occasionally, depending which way the wind direction is going, you might get some fireworks ash falling on you if you're on that bridge between the hub and Tomorrowland. But overall, it's not bad. I mean, the thing with Wish is you don't want to be too close to the castle because you miss the scale of a lot of the effects. Too close.
Newell?
Yeah, as far as Wishes goes, I like to sit by the noodle station near Tomorrowland. That whole area there's seating there, tables. We like to sit there during Wishes. Spectral Magic, I like to view it from the front platform of the train station. It's a little bit level, a little higher than the street level.
Oh yeah, good choice.
It's
You could watch Spectrum. You could watch both from there, actually.
Yeah, actually you can. If the trees aren't in the way blocking the
get there
Magic
at 2 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's a pretty decent view for Spectrum Magic.
Mr. Scopa?
Well, actually, for Spectral Magic, I sat down exactly where Mike had said. I was in front of the train station so that when Spectral Magic began, it comes out from next to the firehouse so that the floats were facing me so I could take them head on and then they'd go around the circle. However, if you want a combination of Spectral Magic and Wishes, this is where I have stood, and I don't like to share this, but I'll share it with everybody here because we'll just keep it our secret. Now, if you're standing with your right shoulder is towards the train station, your left shoulder is towards the castle. You're standing right near Casey's, so that if you look over your right shoulder, you're looking at Casey's.
Wait, are we doing parades or the Hokey Pokey? What is this?
Okay. Hey. There is a walkway that crosses from where Casey's is. It crosses Main Street USA and goes over to where that Edie's ice cream parlor is and towards Tomorrowland.
Yep.
If you stand right at that corner where they have the tape, you will have Spectro coming from right to left, and you'll be able to see it, be able to video, be able to take photographs. And after the show, after the parade, all you're doing is you're turning 90 degrees to your left, and you're right there for Wishes.
That's great.
Yep.
So Scopa answers all.
It's not a bad tip. You put a lot of thought into that.
Well, that's it for us today. This has been episode number 101 of Walt Disney World Today. If you want to find older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, you can visit the Walt Disney World Today website at wdwj.com. You can also email us at questions@wdwj.com or lend us on Mike Scopa and Mike Newell. I'm Matt Hodgman. We'll see you on the next show.